We live? Yes, sir. I think we are live. All right. I'll give you guys a sec to get into the chat room. Yep, just got the notification. All righty. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka GLorn33. I am back here today with another video on the channel for you guys. And today we are talking Dragon Ball Super Superhero. This is the spoiler live stream. I got a chance to watch the movie earlier today. You know, if you guys, some of you guys are gonna say, "Oh, Fitz, how did you get to Japan so quick to watch the movie and then get back home?" Well, no, I got to watch it from the comfort of my chair in my room in my home. And it was an experience. I got to watch it with Geekdom 101 and a bunch of other friends in our Discord server, and it was an enjoyable time. I also have my own copy of the movie currently in decent quality. Right now, I'll be fully honest, I didn't see it subbed, right? I did watch Gores's review a couple days ago because he saw the film on opening night in Japan, and then he made a spoiler review that went fully in depth about the movie. So after seeing that review, it made it a lot more easier to watch the movie, even though I didn't have subtitles, right? And for a lot of you guys, there's been clips all over the internet the past couple days, right? But the full movie is out there, and it's not even that difficult to find the movie out there. So for those of you guys who do want to watch the movie, I'm not going to give you a link to do it. You guys are going to have to do that on your own, but it's pretty easy to find the movie out there. So if you want to watch Dragon Ball Superhero, just do a little digging on YouTube or on social media, and you should be able to find it pretty easily. But if you guys have not seen me do a movie review here before, it's different because we're gonna do this in podcast form, right? And for those of you guys in the chat, if you guys have questions or comments, I will be looking at those. Super chats are open, so if you guys want to donate to the channel, everything that I make on YouTube, I always try to reinvest it into the channel, just as a thank you for you guys for supporting me, right? And I want to continue growing this brand, this channel, as big and as large as I can. But with that being said, what we're gonna do for this stream, I'm gonna talk about some different elements of the film, like music, animation, things like that. And then we'll get fully into the spoilers. So we'll basically talk about the movie from start to finish. I don't know how long I'm gonna go, right? I don't know how long this stream is gonna be, right? But I have no problem. I got my water over here, and you guys know Dragon Ball is like my favorite pop culture topic. So definitely, if this stream goes long, if it goes a couple hours, so be it. As long as we all have a good time talking about Dragon Ball. I'm gonna open up my window really quick because it's a little hot out. There we go. Right. And yeah. Let me see if there's any comments in the chat. I see people like make a video about Sasha. Maybe I will eventually. You guys, I'm just not really into WWE these days, and my passion for WWE is, leaving more and more by the day. That's the reason why I haven't been doing WWE videos. So I'm just gonna be honest with you guys about that. Maybe eventually, maybe sometime this summer, I'll get back to making WWE videos, but I just don't have the passion to do it. And I'm really busy anyway. So if WWE is not going to give me anything to anything to excite me, I'm not going to make a video on it. That's my stance on it. So yeah, really quickly. But that's all the wrestling I hope I'm going to talk about on the stream. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Superhero. So the first thing, out the gates, right? Was the movie good? Fitz, did you enjoy the superhero movie? I did. I really did enjoy this movie. there's so many videos I can make coming out of this film, and I definitely am gonna make them over the next couple weeks and months, right? And as time goes on, especially once we get the English dub released here in North America, in August, right? And the thing is, some people might say, hey, you just watched the movie, cammed or whatever from Japan, but still, it was still an awesome experience. And it got me even more hype to see the film in an actual theater when it comes here to the US in a couple, in about 2 months, right? When we get the English dub and everything. It really got me excited. I had, very similar feelings when I saw the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. And I know here's another question a lot of people are going to ask. Fitz, was this movie better than the last Dragon Ball Super movie about 3 years ago, right? The Broly movie came out about 3 years ago, if I'm right. And I will say, I will make a more in-depth video on this. I would say, in my opinion, no, but I love the Broly movie so much that it was good. It was always going to be difficult for this movie to be better than the Broly movie, in my opinion, right? I love the Broly movie. And the thing about it is, DBS Broly and DBS Superhero, right? We've gotten 4 Dragon Ball movies in this new era of Dragon Ball, right? Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, which some people consider more Dragon Ball Z movies, right? Which is your stance, even though Dragon Ball Super, the anime, does tell the story of Battle of Gods and the Resurrection F as well. So does the manga. So, some people, have different stances on this, but we've gotten 4 movies in this era of Dragon Ball. And, you got this Battle of Gods, Resurrection F. You have, what is it? You have the Broly movie and you have this movie, right? And, that's taking Broly and Dragon Ball Superhero, right? They're both Dragon Ball Super films, but they're 2 completely different films. The focus, the characters, right? The theme, Dragon Ball Super Dragon Ball Super Broly is very, very intense. It's an intense film. Both films have a pretty easy plot. It's not that too hard to get a gist of what's going on, even if you're kind of new to Dragon Ball. But still, both films have a simple story. I would probably say Superhero has a better story than the Broly movie, but both films have a pretty simple story. And I could get into all the other elements like that, but I want to focus more on this movie. I don't want to really compare Broly and Superhero too much. They're 2 completely different films, right? But I would say the Broly movie is better in my opinion, but the Broly movie is just really good. I love the Broly movie so much. It's probably my favorite Dragon Ball film ever. So, that's nothing, that's no knock on the Superhero movie. This movie is fantastic. I love it. But the Broly movie is better in my opinion, right? And I'll say the same thing once we get the English dub of this movie in just 2 months. But still, another thing, the 3D, right? This is a 3D CGI movie. That's something new for Dragon Ball. And a lot of people over the last year, since we've learned about this, right, had reservations about how it was going to look. I always say, and I say this for not just Dragon Ball, I say this for a lot of things. Let's see how it's going to look at the end, right? It's one thing to judge something based off one trailer that we got 6 months ago when they've been working on the film in the past 6 months, right? And I think the 3D looked great. If I'm being honest, I prefer 2D for Dragon Ball, right? And even though the 3D in this movie looked great, I'll always prefer 2D when it comes to anime or, films or anything like that. But the 3D didn't ruin my experience at all. Yes, there was some scenes that looked a little wonky, but you get that in almost any movie. No movie's going to be perfect for the entire runtime, right? And for the most part, the 3D did not affect my experience at all, especially in the fight scenes. That's when I was most concerned about. How would the 3D affect the fight scenes? And the fight scenes are beautiful in this movie, especially Goku and Vegeta. And we'll get to, more of those specific details in the battles in a little bit. But You know, if you're talking to me about the animation and the 3D, I liked it. I prefer 2D at the end of the day, but the 3D, what did not hurt my experience, right? Not neutral central says I'll probably check out the movie online if it comes out on DVD. The movie will come out on DVD, just not anytime soon. It's in theaters. Plus, we have the English dub. Well, you could, if I'm being honest, you'll probably get this movie on DVD probably near the end of the year. Probably, I would say October, November, December, around there. That's when you can expect this movie to be on DVD. But let's talk about some other element. I have some of these written down. The hype, right? The hype for this film. Well, the hype for this film really started building these last couple weeks, right? I've been on the record saying this. A lot of people have been on the record saying this, right? The marketing for this film was not that good for about, let's say, 80% of its build. They did not promote the film that well. Yes, we got a bunch of leaked toys and, we got some trailers here and there. But really, we didn't get a lot until probably the last, month or so. That's when they really ramped up the marketing for this film. So, but there was always hype around the film. But if you compare the hype of this film to Broly's hype absolutely destroyed superheroes hype out the water. Because, Goku, Vegeta, of course, they're the stars of the franchise, right? They're the most popular characters. So, of course, they're going to, get a lot of shine. And of course, Broly coming back and things like that. And they marketed that film beautifully. It was everywhere. When they were marketing it here in America, when they were marketing in Japan, the Broly film was everywhere. With the superhero film, it wasn't until the last month when they started really pushing this film. And all in all, they did get a decent amount of hype surrounding it, right? If you look at the box office numbers, it's doing really, really well at the Japanese box offices. But I do think they could have done a way better job marketing the film in the months before coming up to the movie. But all in all, it all kind of worked out in the end. I wasn't expecting this film to do better at the box office than Broly did. I wasn't really. Okay. Next up, visuals. This movie is beautiful. It's a beautiful Dragon Ball film. Very, very beautiful. We talk about how good the Broly movie looked. Some of the visuals in this film, especially during some of the fight scenes, when like Gamma 1 is going for a kick, Gamma 2 when he was fighting Cell Max, right? And we'll get more into specifics in a little bit, but that scene was absolutely crazy. Transformations in this film, like Gohan transforming into his ultimate form, Piccolo transforming into Orange Piccolo, Gohan transforming into Final Gohan, or his white form, whatever you want to call it, right? The visuals are beautiful. Plus, this like when certain key blast attacks are happening, especially during the final battle with Cell Max, excuse me, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, and I can't say that enough. This film has amazing visuals, especially near the end. Like, woo, some of the most beautiful looking visuals that we've ever seen in Dragon Ball take place near the end of this film. And I have to keep bringing that up. I'm gonna put my AC on, so it might get a little bit loud in here. So like I said, you guys should be able to hear me fine, but my AC is on. But yeah, beautiful visuals everywhere throughout this film. Next up, the plot. I already kind of covered this. The plot, it's a simple plot. The Broly film and this film have simple stories. Toriyama said in interviews after that you can find on the internet about this film, Dragon Ball Super is more of a casual continuation of what happened in DBZ. And I've been saying that for forever. Dragon Ball Super is not meant to be what DBZ was. Yes, you're gonna get the amazing battles and the awesome forms and the screaming, the power up, the Kamehamehas and all that. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for the the super duper intense storytelling that DBZ got, right? And we know DBZ was never on the level of Naruto or One Piece, or not One Piece, like Naruto or Bleach when it comes to story, right? Yes, DBZ is amazing. It's my favorite show ever. But in terms of like this a super emotional story, DBZ was never that. It was an intense story, right? An epic story if you ask me, but it's not what Naruto is, right? When people talk about Naruto being the best story in all of anime, right? Dragon Ball Super is nowhere close to where DBZ's story is, and it's not meant to be. It's supposed to be more of a fun ride. Remember, Dragon Ball Super is more targeted towards kids, right? Who like fighting and stuff like that. It's not, as targeted to like you or me, people who've been watching this franchise forever. Yes, we get those cool moments, but Dragon Ball Super is meant to be a casual version of Dragon Ball. It's not supposed to be as intense of DBZ. You get the battles and all that, but if you're expecting DBZ storytelling, you're not gonna get that in Super. It was never meant to be that, right? So when you talk about the plot here, right? The plot's pretty simple. The Red Ribbon Army, right? They are being revived. The Red Ribbon Army is being revived through Carmine and Magenta, right? And they want to go after Goku and the others who destroyed the Red Ribbon Army in the past, and then taking out the androids and Cell and DBZ and all that other stuff, right? They want payback. That's really the simple plot of this film, right? And then the Z Fighters have to face the newly revived Red Ribbon Army. That's really what the plot of this film is, and it leads to some super epic battle that we see take place throughout the film. That's the plot in just a couple words. The Red Ribbon Army is revived, and they want to go after the Z Fighters. And it leads to a big superhero battle taking place. That's it. I will say the story of this film is a little bit better than Broly's, right? But I still like the Broly film a little bit more. But still, this film is still very, very enjoyable, right? And even though the story is simple, there's lots of cool moments that take place in between, which we'll talk about in just a second. But yeah, that's what I would say about that. Let me see. Do I have anything else in my notes? Film, hype, plot, characters, visual. Oh, music, right? Yeah, that's the last thing I had. Music. The music of this film is great. If you guys saw my OST reaction a couple of days ago when the OST previews leaked online, right? This was around Thursday, right? The OSTs came out, and I said, I put in the title, I talked about it in that video. The soundtrack, it's very, very different from what Broly was. It's very, very different from what we've seen in any other Dragon Ball film before it. This film, the music makes it feel like a Marvel movie. If you've seen the MCU, which I'm guessing everyone has, right? Everyone knows what Marvel Studios is in the MCU, right? Those big, big scores, those big music. Dun, 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 dun. You get those Marvel vibes when you listen to the soundtrack. The big melody. This film doesn't have a theme song. There's no Blizzard or anything like that in this film, but there's a melody that plays many times throughout the film, especially in big moments. And the melody goes like dun, 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 dun. It's a superhero, melody, right? And it shows up in many different points in the film, like when Goku and Vegeta are fighting, Gohan's transforming, Piccolo's fighting, and all these other cool moments. And it's great. It's a great melody. The soundtrack for this film it's like a Marvel movie. All right. And I love the Broly soundtrack, but I love this soundtrack just as much because I'm used to hearing these types of score because I watch Marvel so much. It's a very very enjoyable soundtrack, and I think if you love good music in anime films, this music will give you some of the best music that you've heard in anime. And that's me being 100% honest about that. Um, yeah. Next up, let's get into the actual film itself. Right? Honestly, I'm speeding through this a lot faster than I thought, but it's only depending on how long it takes me to get through the plot here, right? If I end up going less than an hour here, I'll kind of like punch myself a little bit because I'll be like, why did I just make a video? Why did I stream? But anyway, that's besides the point. But let's talk about the actual plot now, right? We talked about the film hype, characters, or not, yeah, characters, visual music. And real quick before we get into the plot, two things. One, if you guys are new to the channel and you guys are enjoying the stream or the video, make sure to leave a like on the video. Also subscribe by hitting the big red button next to my name, Fitz TV. Also click the bell so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. And also the link in the description down below. You can follow me on Twitter, where I'm very, very active. Follow me on Instagram and all that good stuff. But anyway, let's get back into Dragon Ball Superhero. Really quick, as we get into the plot, I'll give you guys my MVP for the film. I have two, and the thing about it is, Piccolo is my MVP for this film, along with Gamma 2. All right, and what I'll say about Piccolo, and we'll get into more details, specific details here, but Piccolo, he drives the plot a lot in this film. His action, what's going on with his character, really drives the film here. And the thing about it is, if you guys know Piccolo, he's more of a quiet character, right? He doesn't talk too much. He's usually minding his business, right? But he has tons of dialogue in this film, tons of dialogue. And then he has tons of action as well. He has huge moments. And he's amazing. I love Piccolo. He's my second favorite character in Dragon Ball after Goku, of course. And he is a beast in this film. The plot really drives through him. Gohan is the star, right? Gohan and Piccolo are the stars. Gohan's the main star, right? Especially in the second half of this film. But Piccolo's the MVP. He drives everything that really happens, right? His battle with Gamma 2 at the beginning of the film, him training Pan, him infiltrating the Red Ribbon Army, then him getting his wish with the Dragon Balls, right? Then his actions is what causes Gohan to get involved. Without Piccolo, Gohan would have never even got involved in this film. Yeah, and then the battle itself, right, and how pivotal Piccolo is in the battle against Cell Max at the end of the film. All that, without Piccolo, this film doesn't happen, and he is the MVP in my opinion. This was the best Piccolo's looked in Dragon Ball Super. You can make the case this is the best Piccolo's looked in all of Dragon Ball, and I'm serious about that. From a character, everything that Piccolo does in this film, right? This is the best Piccolo's looked, I don't know, since way back in DBZ. I'm thinking like Cell Arc DBZ. And if I'm being honest with you guys, it's easily the best Piccolo's looked in Dragon Ball Super, right? He's had moments in Dragon Ball Super in both the anime and the manga, but yeah, I think this is the best Piccolo has looked in Super. And I think it might be, you can make a case that this is the best Piccolo's looked in all of Dragon Ball. That's a video for another day. I plan to make videos talk about the characters on this film one by one. But yeah, that's how strongly I feel about Piccolo's performance in this movie. I really do love seeing what Piccolo does in Dragon Ball Superhero. But anyway, getting back into it. So Also Piccolo and Gamma 2. I really loved Gamma 2 in battle. I loved his voice actor. I love the moments he has, man. He's a fun character with a sense of justice. Like Gamma 1 is the more serious guy. Gamma 2 is a little more Gamma 2 knows how to be serious, right? But he also knows how to have fun at the same time. It reminds me a little bit of myself, if I'm being honest with you. And then Gamma 2 also makes the big sacrifice. Near the end of the film in the final act, right? And I was kind of sad. Even though we'd only known Gamma 2 for this film only, right? I got sad when, Gamma 2 didn't make it to the end, I kind of wish it was him that survived instead of Gamma 1, but you never know. They could always bring Gamma 2 back. It's Dragon Ball, right? But still, Gamma 2, I really did. So Piccolo's the MVP, and I would give second to Gamma 2, and then Gohan comes in at number 3. Not saying Gohan wasn't great in the film, but I really loved what Piccolo and Gamma 2 did in this film. For those of you guys who have seen the film, let me know who's your guys' MVP in the chat below. But let's finally get into the plot, right? Let's get into the plot. I don't have notes here because I kind of memorized what happened in the movie, right? And like I said, remember, we don't have the subtitles. We don't have the subtitles yet. I won the bet there will be a version with subtitles out probably, in the next couple weeks or so. It does take a while to translate this properly, so give it time for those of you guys who have the leaked version of the film. But I'll probably do another video on some of the things I noticed once we do get the subtitled version. But let's get into the plot of this film. And from the intro, the first 2 minutes are kind of an explanation of the history of the Red Ribbon Army, right? And their encounters with Goku and company, right? And the whole intro of this movie is in 2D, and the animation is beautiful. Like I said, I prefer a 2D film over a 3D film, but the 2D intro here is beautiful. I love it. And basically it shows like Goku and it's fresh animation. So it's Goku, beating up the Red Ribbon Army, right? And then basically explaining everything up to even when the Sea Fighters went against Cell, and it's like new animation. So you see Piccolo powering up against Cell when they first met in Gingertown, right? And then Cell absorbing the androids, and then slowly going from first form Cell to second form Cell to perfect Cell. Beautiful looking stuff. Then they show Gohan doing the father-son Kamehameha on Cell and killing him, right? And then explaining how the Red Ribbon Army got to this point, where they are now, right? With, Carmine and Magenta trying to revive the Red Ribbon Army, So the 2D intro was absolutely beautiful. It just made me imagine, like, what if Shintani was the director of this film and we got that 2D animation that we got in the Broly movie? Like I said, the 3D was great, but I personally prefer 2D animation. That's just my personal opinion, right? All right, but but like I said, the intro was really, really cool to see. And one other thing is, you could see, even if you went into this not being spoiled, right, and you had no idea that Cell Max was going to be the final villain, right, you can see, based on how much Cell is mentioned in the intro and in the build-up to the battle, right, you could tell that something was going to happen, right? Maybe, like, Cell was going to get resurrected or something, like maybe his offspring or something, because Cell was referenced so much throughout this film, up before Cell Max appears, that it just makes you think that something has to happen. Why are they talking about Cell so much? It's not just because, he was an android, but they just kept talking about him over and over and over again. So if you went into this movie, right, with no spoilers, with no knowledge about the plot of this film, and you've seen DBZ, and you know about Cell, and you've seen how much they reference him, it makes you think that potentially Cell was going to appear at some point or something. They were going to do something regarding Cell here later on. That was very, very obvious. very, very obvious. But getting into the film, after that, they have the title card, right? And then the first 10 minutes of the movie are introducing us to Dr. Hiro, Magenta, and Carmine, right? They're discussing their plan to revive the Red Ribbon Army. And they're trying to get Dr. Hiro on board. Dr. Hiro, they're eating Oreos and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, damn. If you guys seen on social media, they in Japan, on actual official Oreo pack, they did a collaboration. Dragon Ball Super and Oreo, they did a collaboration. And I was like, damn, I really wish I had some Oreos. I was getting very, very hungry for some dang Oreos throughout this film, because you see Dr. Hiro and Carmine eating Oreos almost every time they're on screen, right? And they're talking about their plan to revive the Red Ribbon Army and all this other stuff, right? Like I said, it was a little bit difficult to understand because there's no dialogue, but you were able to get the gist of it. Luckily we had Garessa's review before the leaks came out, so that we could kind of still follow along with what was going on, even though we didn't have subtitles, right? So after that, really, like I said, the first 10 minutes, it's basically them talking, right? Kind of setting things up. A lot of the first, I would say, 45 minutes of this film is really just setting it up for the big battle that takes place. Kind of similar to Broly, right? There is a little bit less action in this film than the Broly movie. Like, in the Broly movie, the last, 45 minutes of the film is just straight action with very little breaks. Very little breaks. And this film is similar. There is a lot of action in the final act, but it's a little bit less. Just a little bit, not too much, but there's a little bit less action in this film than Broly. These are things that I think about, because I love action. That's my favorite part of Dragon Ball, of course. But yeah, so after that, we get Pan training with Piccolo, right? So we get to see Piccolo training Pan, which was pretty cool. And for the most part, Piccolo is owning Pan, right? But it is impressive to see Pan at only 3 years old. Actually, she has some moves. She has some cool moves, and we see her and Pan drinking water. I will say, Pan is so cute in this film. She's very, very cute. And I love her interactions with Piccolo. Really. I think Pan has better interactions with Piccolo than she has with Gohan in this film. Like Piccolo's like the cool uncle. That's really the best way to describe Piccolo to Pan. Piccolo's that cool uncle. Like Goku, right? If you watch Dragon Ball Super, the anime, Goku has some cool moments with Pan when Pan's a baby. But in this film, Piccolo's just really the cool uncle with Pan. There's a funny scene later on when they're like Pan and Piccolo fist bump. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You could never see Piccolo doing that in DBZ, really. But seeing Piccolo now at this point in the timeline, it's really cool to see his relationship with Pan. They're Piccolo and Pan, they talk about Gohan. Pan's like, was my father really that strong? Was there a point where he was really stronger than Goku, right? Because Pan's never really seen Gohan in action. Remember, in Dragon Ball Super, when we see Gohan fighting, that was filler. That was filler. That's not actual canon story. You know what I mean? So Pan, because Pan doesn't see Gohan. Pan was not there for the Tournament of Power or anything like that. So Pan's just knows Gohan as a researcher, like the cool dad, but he loves to study and things of that nature. So Pan's like, was there really a time where when my dad Gohan was stronger than Goku? Because Pan knows that Goku loves to fight, right? And Piccolo says, yes, there was a time, right? And we all talk about Gohan versus Boo, Gohan versus Cell, things of that nature. And then, after that conversation, Pan goes off to kindergarten. We get to see Piccolo's house, right? And Piccolo is meditating on a rock. But then, the Namekians, they have amazing hearing. So Piccolo's getting a FaceTime call from his cell phone. and he's on a mountain outside of his house. He flies down to answer the call, and it's from Videl. But this is the only. It's a very very small cameo from Videl, right? Videl is basically asking Piccolo, "Hey, can you pick up Pan from school?" Piccolo's like, "Why can't Gohan do it?" Videl's like, Videl is a martial arts instructor, and Gohan's, too busy researching. So Piccolo agrees to do it, right? And of course, there's plushies everywhere of like that Videl and Pan like to give Piccolo. So Piccolo has like a cool collection of this plushies in his house. There's also like a scene of Piccolo that's sitting in this big ass chair in his house as well, which I find really really cool. It's like a king size chair that Piccolo's sitting in. I'm just like, yeah, Piccolo, sit on your throne. But Piccolo agrees to do it, right? But then he goes over to Gohan's house to see why Gohan won't pick up his daughter. And Gohan's like, I'm studying and I knew you would do it, Piccolo, right? And Piccolo's, annoyed not only at Gohan not picking up his daughter, but he's also annoyed that Gohan never trains. He never trains, so that he actually, Gohan's like, yeah, if anything happens, Goku and Vegeta will take care of it. Even though, remember, this movie takes place after. Remember, this movie takes place after the Moro and Granola arcs. Remember, they don't reference Moro or Granola because they don't want to spoil it for people that only watch the anime, right? And we're expecting the Dragon Ball Super anime to come back at some point. Will it be this year? We'll see. But, we expect that, the DBS anime to come back eventually. So, remember, Gohan does play a big role in the Moro arc, at least, right? So Piccolo's like, what, Gohan, why don't you train? And he's like, Goku and Vegeta will take care of all those threats, even though Gohan should know better, right? Because remember, Gohan was in the Tournament of Power and he was also in the Moro arc. Gohan should know better than that. But anyway, that's beside the point. So Piccolo punches Gohan, right? Gohan's able to block it, but then Piccolo hits Gohan in the stomach, which shows that Gohan is rusty. Plus, he's keeping his guard down. So Piccolo changes Gohan's outfit, right? Which remember, Piccolo's clothes are heavy because Piccolo's always training. He's just used to wearing heavy clothes, So Gohan's like, damn, these are heavy. And Piccolo's like, at least you can do a little bit of training right now with these clothes on. But then Piccolo leaves, and then Gohan goes back to doing his research, right? So then we go back to Piccolo meditating, and Piccolo gets attacked out of nowhere by a blue beam. This is of course Gamma 2. This sets up our first major battle of the film, about now 15 something minutes into the film, right? Gamma 2 attacks Piccolo. They have a brief little dialogue. Piccolo's like, Red Ribbon Army, what do you want? And Gamma 2 says, I'm a superhero, been basically blah, 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 here to take you out. So Piccolo and Gamma 2 have a kind of short battle. It's not really a long battle. It's like, I would say it's more about 2 minutes. And for the most part, Gamma 2 owns Piccolo. You get those cool comic kicks, right? That they showed in the initial trailers for this film. Piccolo doesn't really get much offense in. He fires off some key blasts at Gamma 2, but Gamma 2 is able to, dodge them pretty easily. So then Gamma 2 fires off a big shot with his ray gun on Piccolo. And then when he has like a little scouter, and he doesn't see that there's any life in the area. So he assumes that Piccolo's dead. And then he flies away, but Piccolo is fine. And then Piccolo then goes after Gamma 2, right? He surveys to see like what the hell is going on here, right? So then you get this really, really cool scene of Gamma 2 entering the Red Ribbon Army secret base. And for Marvel fans, I know I referenced, there's lots of really cool Easter eggs that, the kind of Marvel that really go that time along with Marvel, Um, I really would not be surprised if the directors and the staff of this film really looked to Marvel and some of the MC movies when they were making this movie. No matter when it came to like some of the moments that characters have, to like the score, things like that. So Gamma 2 enters the Red Ribbon Army base, but Piccolo enters behind him. Piccolo takes out a random Red Ribbon Army guard, and then he's in the Red Ribbon Army suit, and then he enters the base, and it's like Wakanda. From the outside, it looks very deceptive, but you have to. It looks like just like a cannon, but when you enter in, it's like it's an illusion, and then you see the real Red Ribbon Army base hiding. And if I'm being honest with you guys, the Red Ribbon Army is kind of a joke in this film. Outside of Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and Cell Max, right? And a little bit Magenta, the Red Ribbon Army is kind of a joke in this film. They don't do anything really threatening. It's really just those characters that serve as a challenge to our heroes. Like I said, it's a casual story, right? It's a very casual story. They tried to market it as the Red Ribbon Army having this sinister plot, but for the most part, the Red Ribbon Army doesn't do much in this film. It's just Gamma 1, Gamma 2, Magenta, and Cell Max. Those are really the only characters that matter from the Red Ribbon Army in this film. Carmine really doesn't even matter that much here. It's like I said, it's a fun film. It's an enjoyable film, but there's not much happens really with the Red Ribbon Army. They really don't really serve as any type of threat. But still, so Gohan, or not Gohan, Piccolo infiltrates the base, right? We get introduced to Gamma 1, right? And we see the Dr. Hito, Magenta, Carmine talking about their plan, right? They have that big, cool little board where they have the images of the Seafires like Goku, Vegeta, Hercule, etc., etc., and they talk about their plan. I don't have too much context on this because I don't have the subtitles, but you could kind of figure things out for the most part. So Piccolo figured out their plan a little bit, and then he realizes that, hey, these guys are actually dangerous, right? Gamma 1, Gamma 2. He also gets a little bit of an idea about Cell Max, right? And he realizes, oh, I gotta get reinforcements. So he leaves the base basically so he can get contact with Bulma, so that they can get in contact with Whis, so that they can get in contact with Goku and Vegeta, who are on Beerus's planet. As usual, right? They're always on Beerus's planet. So then we get to Beerus's planet, and we see that Goku is trying to help Broly control his ki. Broly still is having a lot of trouble controlling his ki, right? He powers up here, but he's having trouble controlling, and Goku can already notice that Broly is, gonna go berserk if he doesn't do anything. So he tells Broly to stop. Broly is able to stop before fully losing control of himself. And you can see that Broly is, still disappointed in himself that he can't control his power yet. Very similar to Kale in the Tournament of Power. So then after that, right, we see Vegeta. Vegeta's meditating on a rock. He's in a very similar stance to Jiren from the Tournament of Power. They show a very brief flashback to Jiren, right? So, very similar to how they did in the Broly movie. Remember, for anime people, right, what they will remember is the Tournament of Power. For manga people, you know that the Moral arc and Granola arcs take place before this, but they're not referencing those in this film. They're going based off the knowledge of an anime only person, right? So they did this in the Broly movie. They do it here again in this movie, and they reference Jiren. And Goku's having a conversation with Vegeta, and it seems like Vegeta is learning from Jiren. He's meditating, and Vegeta basically kind of says something weird that I need the subtitles more to understand it, but he basically says something along the lines that it wasn't really that Jiren was more powerful than Goku and Vegeta in the Tournament of Power. It was more that his mindset is what, propelled him to victory. He was able to fight very clearly, and that helped him, which I don't know how I feel about that, because right afterwards, Whis comes down and he completely agrees with Vegeta, right? But I think we all watched the Tournament of Power, and we saw that Jiren, for the most part, was just stronger than Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta tried everything against him. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, and they even tried working together, and they had no luck. The only way they were able to defeat Jiren was because Goku was able to perfect Ultra Instinct, right? And then, teaming up with Frieza and 17 at the end, and they got the job done, right? So I don't know how I feel about them saying, oh, Jiren was only able to defeat them because of his mindset. I think all of us will agree that Jiren was just flat out more powerful than Goku and Vegeta. Yes, Jiren had a different mindset, right? Jiren more just focused on his own justice and his own individual strength, right? While Goku had a completely different mentality, which helped him win. But his idea that, it wasn't Jiren's strength that made him stronger than Goku Vegeta, but it was his mindset. I don't know how I feel about that. I think once we get the subtitled version and the English dubbed version, we'll have more clarity on this, and I can make a more in-depth video on this topic. But it's a little wacky. It's a little wacky, right? But I will make a video more on this in the future. But that was something that did confuse me just a little bit, right? So then we get what is it? We get Beerus. Beerus wakes up, right? And it's revealed that I guess Beerus has been sleeping for 4 months. So maybe it's safe to assume that this movie takes place 4 months after the Broly film. Well, but I don't know. I don't want to really get into that too much. Because of course you have the Mora arc and the Granola arc, right? But you don't need to read the Mora Granola arcs. You don't need to be caught up on the manga to be able to watch this film at all. Because remember in the Granola arc, right, the manga, Goku and Vegeta had been training on Beerus's planet to, improve their Ultra Instinct and Ultra Equal powers for months. So I don't know. I'm a little, I'm not gonna try to make too much sense of the timeline here, but I think it was said that Beerus had been napping for about 4 months, right? So then we get a hilarious scene of basically Chilai and Lebo, right? Beerus is asking, well, why is Broly on my planet and all this? Goku says because he's trying to help Broly, master his power. And he knows Frieza is out there looking for Broly, right? And then we get this, like I said, we get this funny scene. Chilai comes up, and basically, it's a funny scene. The music, it's like, for those who have seen the film, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like, it's a wacky scene, but it's a funny scene. So basically, Beerus is just staring at Chilai, and out of nowhere, and Chilai's like a little bit nervous, like, is he gonna destroy me? Like, what's gonna happen here? And then out of nowhere, Beerus is like, you're cute. And Chilai's taking it back, but like, what? And all this other stuff. And Beerus is like, oh, you could stay on my planet as much as you want. Very, very funny scene. Everybody around them is like, what? Broly doesn't give much of a reaction here. But Goku and Vegeta like, what? Huh? Like Beerus like calling Chilai cute. It's a funny scene. It really is a funny scene. So then, basically Whis announces like a training match, right? Goku and Vegeta get excited about this. Whis says that there will be no transformations and no ki blasts, but it's only going to be martial arts, right? Striking, all that, normal stuff, right? Hand-to-hand combat. So, but right before the battle takes place, Goku's stomach roars and he's like, can we eat first? And then we get your classic Saiyan eating scene. Goku, Vegeta, Broly just eating at Beerus's table, right? And, they're all enjoying a good meal. So then we get probably my favorite scene of the movie, right? Goku and Vegeta. The superhero music plays here, and we hear that superhero music so many times throughout the film, like 6 or 7 times. if I'm being honest. But we see it. You know, it kind of reminds me of Goku and Vegeta's first battle on Earth back in the Saiyan saga of DBZ. You see Vegeta, he's like doing his normal arms folded stance on top of this like purple tree. Goku's down below looking at him. They don't get into stances, right? They don't do this or anything like that. They're just standing, look at each other. But the music's playing. Vegeta has a serious look on his face. Goku's smiling, of course. And the music is just like awesome. It's like and you get the horn like and then Which is like Hashime, right? Start the battle, and then Goku and Vegeta go at it for the next 2 minutes. It's just them throwing hands, and this is what I love. This is what I love. Straight hand-to-hand combat. That's my favorite part of battle. You know, I love the Kamehamehas and everything, but I just love the straight hand-to-hand combat, right? That's what separates Dragon Ball from so many anime. It's why Dragon Ball is, you know, one of the GOATs, right? This is why people love anime. It's anime fights. Anime fights. And you got 2 minutes of just Goku and Vegeta throwing hands at one another. Right? Goku throws a right hand. Vegeta's like, psh, still has his arm folded. Then Goku throws another hand. Vegeta blocks it. And, you know, these two are just epic hand-to-hand combat, blocking each other's attacks left and right, you know, kicks, everything. It's just 2 minutes of this pure. All right, I got concerned there. I get the OBS notification. Hey, my OBS got disconnected. Luckily, all right, everything's back to normal. But like I said, Goku and Vegeta are throwing hands at one another, right? I think this will go down as one of my favorite Goku and Vegeta fights, right? You know, it's 2 minutes, but it's just like, this is what, it's like what separates Goku and Vegeta from everybody else in Dragon Ball, man. The two GOATs, the two Saiyan prodigies, right? They're just throwing hands at one another, and they're doing this. They're not even in Super Saiyan or God or Blue or Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego. It's just them in base throwing hands. No key blasts, no nothing. And I'm just like, this is awesome. This is awesome. They're trying to get the upper hand on one another, kicks and all this other stuff. But yeah. And you see Broly's just sitting there just like, he like, you know, Beerus is eating ice cream in the background along with the others, but Broly's not eating. He's just absolutely loving the battle. He's just focused watching it. So you can see Broly's learning. He's learning from watching Goku and Vegeta go at it. And they're just throwing hands. Just a cool little throwback. Do you guys remember in the Majin Vegeta Super Saiyan 2 Goku fight where Goku gets stuck on the rocks, right? They do it in reverse now with Vegeta. So Goku punches Vegeta and Vegeta gets stuck in the rocks for a sec. That allows Goku to take the upper hand for a little bit, but then Vegeta is able to get out of it. Vegeta headbutts Goku just like he headbutted Broly in the Broly movie, and they continue their fight. There's also a cool scene where Goku just grabs Vegeta from the back, pause, and then he just slams him into the water. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff all around here. Awesome stuff. So they're just going at it, just throwing hands. Probably my favorite part of this movie, right? And I'm loving it. The 3D here looks really good. Really, really good. And then you have the track here just going like awesome stuff. So yeah. And basically that's the last time we see Goku and Vegeta up until the end of the movie. That's the last time we see them, right? Because so basically as the whole battle is taking place, Goku and Vegeta are just throwing hands on Beerus's planet. So then we go back to Earth, right? And like I said, there's a lot of slice of life in this movie. A lot of slice of life, which is different than the Broly film. But we get Piccolo goes to Kami's lookout to grab 2 sensu beans, right? We also see Piccolo, he goes up to Dende. He visits Dende, right? Dende is very, very happy to see Piccolo, his fellow Namekian brother, right? And Piccolo asks Dende to get his potential unleashed, right? Similar to what, Gohan had done for him. very similar to what and they have a cool little flashback. There's tons of cool Easter eggs and flashbacks to Dragon Ball moments. They flash back to when Krillin and Gohan had their potential unleashed by the Grand Elder during the Namek Saga. So Piccolo asks for Dende to do the same thing, but Dende says he's unable to do it. And like I said, I don't have the subtitles, but I think the reason why is because something about being very old, which is goofy, right? There's so many comedy moments in this film, but yeah, that's the big thing of it. But then they tells Piccolo, hey, you could do it with the Dragon Balls. The Dragon Balls should be able to make your wish. And Piccolo, after getting that, there's a cool scene of Piccolo jumping off Kami's lookout, and Yajirobe throws Piccolo's Red Ribbon Army helmet, and then Piccolo catches it and he flies over to Capsule Corp to go meet up with Bulma, who has already gathered the 7 Dragon Balls. So yeah, so then we see Piccolo asks Bulma, hey, and I forgot to say, Piccolo FaceTime Bulma and say, hey, can I use one of the 3 wishes? Bulma's like, sure, right? So then we get back to Capsule Corp. Piccolo, my muscles, weird flex, but I just wanted to flex for a second. Hey, so yeah, so I'm so wacky. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so Piccolo asks for to have his potential unleashed. Shenron does it for him, so we get a cool little scene of basically Piccolo's getting his power raised out of nowhere, right? And we see Shenron actually puts a mirror. Shenron puts a mirror in front of Piccolo to show him how him getting his potential unleashed. But also Shenron tells Piccolo that I also gave you something a little bit extra as well. And then that would be shown later on in the film, which you guys know, Orange Piccolo. Bulma's 2 wishes are to make her eyelashes a little bit firmer, her eyelashes to come out a little bit, and then her butt to get a little bit firmer, because basically Bulma wants to look younger. That's Bulma's thing. Bulma gets her wish made. There's a funny back and forth, and I wish I had the subtitles for this, but Piccolo and Bulma have a very funny interaction, and my assumption was that Piccolo is getting on Bulma for wasting wishes on herself, firming up her butt, right, and things of that nature. It's a funny little scene. And remember, that's a wish that could have been saved to revive Gamma 2 at the end of this film, right? They could revive Gamma 2 in the future, but that's something that they could have done. But anyway, the wishes are made. So then Piccolo heads back to the Red Ribbon Army base. So he heads back, and then he sees that Carmine has a YouTube channel, right? Carmine actually has a YouTube channel, and he has these spy drones that have been, keeping eyes on some of our heroes, right? So you can see Piccolo sees that there was a spy drone on Piccolo's conversation with Gohan from earlier in the movie. And basically you can see that the Red Ribbon Army are planning on going after Gohan. Remember, the Red Ribbon Army thinks that Piccolo has already been taken out by Gamma 2 earlier, right? And now they're going after Gohan. And they say that the best way to get the Gohan is through his daughter, Pan. So they send a Red Ribbon Army guy to go kidnap Pan at kindergarten, right? But Piccolo goes with him as well. Remember, Piccolo's still dressed like a Red Ribbon Army soldier. So they get over there, right? Pan is, sad because he's waiting for someone to pick her up, either Piccolo or Gohan. So then the Red Ribbon Army soldier shows up, right? And this guy looks like John Cena. It's kind of hilarious. He looks like a little bit like John Cena. He's buff. He wears a green hat, things of that nature. But basically he tries to pick up Pan, but Pan, showcases what she's been learning from her training with Piccolo, and Pan kicks the John Cena Red Ribbon Army soldier in the stomach, and he falls down, and he's knocked out unconscious, right? And the teacher's like shocked, like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? You know, you have, remember, Pan's 3 years old. In Japan, you can start kindergarten at 3 years old. Here in the US, it's more like 5, 6 years old, right? So here you have a 3-year-old Pan just kicking the ass of some random Red Ribbon Army soldier. So then Piccolo shows up in his Red Ribbon Army suit. Pan recognizes him right away. And then Piccolo tells Pan to go along with this little plan, like, right? So then they get back on the ship, right? Piccolo's flying the ship. Remember, Piccolo's just used to flying. He doesn't fly ships. So Piccolo like crashes into billboards and stuff with the ship because he's not used to flying. Like I said, there's so many cool slice of life moments here. Like Piccolo flying a freaking ship and not knowing how to. So Piccolo tells Pan the plan, right? Plan. So then the John Cena Red Ribbon Army soldier wakes up and Pan then starts acting like, you know, she got kidnapped by Piccolo, right? So then they take Pan back to the base, and Piccolo is like directing Pan on what to do, like act scared and stuff like that. So Carmine takes a video of Pan, right? And basically to use it as leverage to lure Gohan over to the Red Ribbon Army base so that the Gammas can kill him. So Piccolo goes with the Red Ribbon Army soldier who goes to Gohan's house, right? And the guy goes to Gohan's front door to ring the doorbell, but Piccolo tells the soldier, no, just go to the window. Let's go behind the back to Gohan's window where he's still doing his research. So we see we see Gohan doing his research. He's sipping coffee, and there's like cool images of, of Goku holding Gohan back from the Saiyan saga, right? Back from the very beginning of DBZ, and there's also images. Now this is making me want to watch DBZ Kai, bro. I might have to watch DBZ Kai after this stream before I go to bed. But then we see Piccolo. There's also a photo of Gohan's wedding, right? And and basically it's the Easter egg from one of the first episodes of Dragon Ball Super when Gohan shows Piccolo his wedding photo, right? When Piccolo was not paying attention. So, I wish we got filler. I wish we got a Dragon Ball Super filler episode of just Gohan's wedding. I feel like that would be such a fun episode. But anyway, so then we see Gohan basically talking to the guy, and they show him the video of Pan being kidnapped. What's weird here, and this is kind of a plot hole, so Piccolo's there, Gohan doesn't recognize him, right? And also another thing, Gohan doesn't sense Piccolo. It's not told us that Piccolo like lowered his energy to 0, right? But the thing about it is Gohan doesn't sense or recognize Piccolo in the Red Ribbon Army suit, right? But it is a little bit wacky because Pan was able to recognize him easily. But Gohan doesn't recognize Piccolo in the Red Ribbon Army suit or sense his energy. But then Gohan sees this video of Pan acting like she's been kidnapped, right? And he gets very angry, right? We know that the one way to get Gohan furious and ready to fight is to threaten his family. This is part of Piccolo's plan because earlier in the film, Gohan said, "Oh, I don't need to fight. If Goku and Vegeta will take care of any threat that showed up." So let's assume here that Gohan knew about Broly, but because Goku and Vegeta were there, he had nothing to worry about, right? Goku and Vegeta took care of Broly, right? So Gohan's just here saying, "Hey, if there's any big threats, that's why we have Goku and Vegeta, right? They'll handle all the big threats for us." So I need more water. Me dropping water all over myself, man. Damn it. Hold on, let me send a quick test. like I said, I love how Piccolo drives the plot of this film. Piccolo's trying to teach Gohan a lesson. You know, he's trying to get Gohan. He's trying to get Gohan back in fighting shape, and he's also trying to get Gohan to realize, like, hey, you need to keep training, right? Goku and Vegeta are not always gonna be around, right? And I also forgot to mention that earlier. Bulma does try to get in contact with Whis, right, via Whis' staff, but Beerus is eating ice cream, and basically the ice cream falls on top of the staff. So basically, nobody ever gets notified that Bulma's trying to call them, right? Which is funny, you know. But yeah, like I said, Piccolo's trying to teach Gohan a lesson. He's trying to get Gohan's fighting spirit back, and he's also trying to get Gohan to learn, like, hey, Goku and Vegeta are not always going to be around, so you have to protect the Earth. You have to be ready in case a crisis arises, like in this movie, you know. And like I said, this is a lesson that Gohan should have already learned, but he needs to be retaught it. He just wants to do his studying most of the time. But anyway, so Gohan gets really angry and he demands to know where Pan is, right? He turns Super Saiyan and then he starts like damaging his house. So like he's powering up because he's angry, and then it starts causing the dirt to go down. So he's causing a shockwave effect around, and the land's getting destroyed, right? And as you see, Gohan's house starts to sink a little bit because he's getting angry, right? So then the Red Ribbon Army soldier says, "Okay, I'll take you to her." So then we get this awesome scene. So they get over to the Red Ribbon Army base, right? And Gohan doesn't waste any time. He just gets out. Like, there's a huge explosion at the plane. Gohan comes flying down, right? And then it's a badass scene. It's a badass scene. So Gohan makes his entrance, and it reminds me of Thor when he made his entrance during Avengers Infinity War in Wakanda, right? And we've already talked about Wakanda, right? How the Red Ribbon Army base does remind you of Wakanda, how it's an illusion from the outside, and how, you have to go into the base, or you have to go into it more to actually see that it's a secret base, right? So it's like when they were making this film, it was like, I don't know if Toriyama or somebody else, was like, hey, I just watched Black Panther. I just watched Avengers Infinity War. Let's take some of those cool elements and put it in this film. Because I'm telling you, man, Gohan's entrance into this film reminds me so much of Thor's entrance in the Wakanda in Avengers Infinity War. It's and it's epic. It really is epic. It's one of my favorite moments of the film. So Gohan makes his entrance, right? And they get right into the battle. For the most part, everything from this point on is mainly fighting. There are, breaks here and there, but for the most part, it's mainly fighting. So it's similar to the Broly movie, but a little bit different. So Gohan's like, what's going on here, right? So Gohan goes flying after Pan, but then he is stopped by Gamma 2, right? And he's dusted away. Gohan takes off his cape, right? Or his turban, and then Gamma 1 encounters him. So Gamma 1 comes flying in after Gohan, right? And then they start their battle, right? And it's a very intense battle. For the most part, Gamma 1 owns Gohan in base form. Gohan gets a couple of kicks in, right? But Gamma 1 really owns him for the most part, right? Throwing him around. And, Gohan's like, it's funny as Gamma 1 is just beating Gohan's ass. Gohan's like fixing his glasses like I do a lot. He's trying to, keep his glasses on and such. So then, Piccolo then shows up next to Pan, and he's more directing Pan. Pan's like in awe getting to see her father fight really for the first time. And, Pan's like marking out like, go daddy, go. Right. And Gohan doesn't realize that Pan's really not even in any real danger here. But still, it's funny. So then Gohan's fighting Gamma 1. Right. And then eventually he goes in the Super Saiyan. Right. He throws the glasses away. He goes in the Super Saiyan. and then he takes control of the battle for a little bit, right? So now him and Gamma 1 are a little more even, but as the fight is going on, Gamma 1 slowly becomes stronger and stronger, and he takes control of the fight once again. He starts mollywopping Gohan, right? And for the most part, the fight choreography here is amazing. The fights here are very, very enjoyable. And like I said, my favorite battle is Goku and Vegeta's 2-minute battle earlier in the film, but still, the fight here is great. I love the fight choreography. They're throwing hands, cool stuff. So, as Gohan's, getting wrecked once again, Piccolo, tells Pan, hey, cry, right? Act like you're in danger. So Piccolo holds Pan up like, he's like, threatening to do something to her. And Pan's like acting like she's in danger, like, oh, God. And Gohan's like, Pan, what's going on here? So Gamma 2 tells, the Reverend Army soldier who is Piccolo, put her down. What are you doing here? And then we see Gohan gets really, really angry, and he transforms into his ultimate form. You get a very, very cool music playing in the background, right? And this scene is awesome. So Gohan powers up into his ultimate form. The bang is back. The hair is straight. The aura, the electricity. I'm like, whoo. So basically, for those who haven't seen the film, if you've seen the IMAX poster of this film, that's the image that shows up. And Gohan isn't serious. He's not playing around. He has reawakened his ultimate form, right? He has reawakened himself. So, so then Gohan then owns Gamma 1 from this point on. Basically, it's not even an even fight, right? Gohan's just wrecking Gamma 1 for the most part. Gamma 1 tries to fight back, and but for the most part, from this point on, Gohan just owns that fight. So then they send Gamma 2 in, right, to make it a handicap. Throw back to Android 18 and Android 17 versus future Gohan from DBZ. But before Gamma 2 can get into the battle, Piccolo intercepts him, right? And then Piccolo is like, no, I'm your opponent. Piccolo rips off, but he just rips off the Red Ribbon Army suit, and then he transforms into his ultimate form, his potential unleashed form, right? And there's a little bit of dialogue, and it's just cool. So you see Piccolo, so it just goes back and forth with Gohan fighting Gamma 1 and Piccolo fighting Gamma 2. And Piccolo, he's doing way better now against Gamma 2 than he did earlier in the film, of course, now that he's had his potential unleashed, right? So Gohan's owning Gamma 1, and there's this, then we get some cool wrestling stuff here. So Gohan's talking to Piccolo, and we see that basically Gohan gets Gamma 1 in like a DDT like position, and he does like a DDT. He basically does like a glorious DDT, Robert Roode's move from WWE, right? He does a DDT on Gamma 1. Very, very cool. There's some cool wrestling moments here, man. Right. And then Piccolo's going at it with Gamma 2. Like I said, Gohan's owning Gamma 1 now that he's back in his ultimate form. Piccolo's going up against Gamma 2. They're having a fierce battle, right? It's pretty much even. There's a cool moment where Piccolo gets sent back by Gamma 2, and but then like he gets sent into some rocks, but then Piccolo, using telekinesis, uses the rocks and he throws them at Gamma 2. Then Piccolo throws, he fires off a nice special beam cannon right at it, but Gamma 2 is able to make a energy shield and is able to block against it. Right, so they continue their battle. It's pretty even, but then Gamma 2 is finally able to get the upper hand on Piccolo. And then there's while this is happening, Piccolo and Gamma 2 are talking. They're not just fighting, but Piccolo's trying to tell Gamma 2, like, hey, you're not a bad guy, but you're being used here by the Red Ribbon Army, especially by Magenta and Carmine. They're using you. They've been lying to you this whole time. So Piccolo then is trying to convince Gamma 2, but Gamma 2 doesn't believe it, right? And then he ends up just throwing he hits Piccolo with a huge sledgehammer, and Piccolo goes falling down into the base. This is where we get that scene from the turn where Piccolo is falling, and then this is epic. One of the best moments of the film. Piccolo gets his transformation scene, right? We see Piccolo do his potential unleashed, but this is Piccolo's big transformation scene. First time ever. He gets his Super Saiyan like transformation. So Piccolo's falling down, and we get this awesome, like, godlike music, like choir and everything. All right. But yeah, so Piccolo falls down, and then we get this like godlike music. We have like Shenron basically saying something, right? We learned that this is the extra power that Shenron gave to Piccolo, and then we see that this light, like this circle, this like orange circle, shows up on Piccolo's back, and then all we see is a huge orange explosion. Everyone's like, "What the hell is going on?" Gohan's like, "What?" You know, and they're all looking, and all you see is Piccolo rise up, and he's in this new form. His the rods that are on top of his forehead, they're not, now they're sticking up. Piccolo he's grown at least a foot in size. He is massive, right? And then he has like these orange lines with a black outline. This is Orange Piccolo. And like I said, we'll talk about Gohan's form in a little bit. I've done videos on it already, but in my opinion, Orange Piccolo, I like it better than Gohan's new form. I love the look of Piccolo's orange form here, right? And we don't have an explanation of what it is, but we just know that this was power given from Shenron to Piccolo. So Gamatu's like, "Nani? What is this?" So Gamatu comes flying in, trying to punch Piccolo in the stomach. Piccolo no-sells it like Hercule against Cell, right? So he's just no-selling it. And then Gamatu's like, "What the? I'm not making a dent in him." And then Piccolo ends the fight with one punch. He rocks all the way back, winds up, boom, knocks Gamatu out. That's the end of that fight. Piccolo beats Gamatu. You know, Gohan and Gamatu's once fight never really ended, right? But it was clear that Gohan was winning for the most part. So Gohan and Piccolo basically defeat the Gammas, right? We see that in the Red Ribbon Army, the soldiers try to fire at Piccolo, right? But it's not doing anything at all. It's not working. It's not happening, Chief. Piccolo's just looking at him like, seriously? Like, what the fuck is this? So then so so yeah. So then the fight ends for the most part, right? The fight ends, and basically we see then that Pan is then fighting and beating up the Red Ribbon Army soldiers, right? And then Carmine takes a gun and tries to shoot Pan, and Pan's blocking but dodging him, like, whoa, 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 what the heck, right? Like, what are we doing here? Child violence, you know? I was like, whoa, like, I'm kind of like, damn, they showed a scene of like Carmine firing a gun at a kid. I was like, whoa, what's happening here? You know, that's something you never even really see in Dragon Ball. But anyway, yeah. So then Pan then hits Carmine with a punch and a kick. Carmine's knocked unconscious, and we don't see him for the rest of the film, right? He's not dead, but he's knocked unconscious. So then we see Magenta running to go activate Cell Max. And then Dr. Hito goes after him. Then we see he goes after Dr. Hito goes after him. And then there's this funny, wacky, but funny scene of them down in the dungeon trying to activate Cell Max, right? But Magenta doesn't care that, Cell Max will just be a rage monster. he just wants to activate him at any cost, right? We see that Dr. Hiro actually gets shot. Magenta shoots Dr. Hiro twice, right? But Dr. Hiro eats those because he's wearing a bulletproof vest. So then we see Dr. Hiro calls like his little like one of the Hachamaru, which is like his little like spy bot, and he sticks a poison in Dr. Hiro, or not Dr. Hiro. He sticks a poison in Magenta, and basically Magenta it kills him. But before Magenta dies, he activates Cell Max with his last dying breath, and Cell Max is then activated. Right? There's a funny scene where we see Cell Max get like his color scheme, right? So at first he's white, but then these colors get spray painted on him, and it's basically Cell Max is, for those who haven't seen the film or the images, Cell Max is basically second form Cell with a red and green and black color scheme, and he's absolutely massive. So think of second form Cell with red eyes, well, no pupils, but red eyes. Red eyes, a red, green, and black color scheme, and he's absolutely massive, right? Dr. Hiro is terrified, right? While this is happening, while Cell Max is being activated, right? The Gammas are talking with Gohan and Piccolo, right? Then we see Bulma and company arrive, right? Goten and Trunks, who are now teens, right? They show up. There's a little bit of dialogue. Piccolo's kind of surprised to see them so much bigger and taller. So they tell us, the audience, that basically Saiyans stay as kids for a long time, but then eventually at some point they just become really tall. They get like a huge growth spurt, and they quickly go from little to tall. So we see Goten and Trunks here. Trunks has his blue hair, of course. We see Krillin's there, 18 is there, right? And as they're talking, all of a sudden you see Dr. Hiro come flying out of on some kind of bike, right? And he radios over the Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 that Cell Max has been activated. Cell Max comes up, he looks absolutely terrifying, and he powers up, right? He has this huge like evil red greenish aura. And, everyone's like, whoa, what the hell was that? Right? He looks like Cell. So this is now the final battle of this film. It is very different from the Broly movie, where it was Gogeta versus Broly, two ultra power Saiyans going at it. This is a group battle, right? And I will say right away, this is probably my favorite big battle, like, one big enemy versus a bunch of the Z fighters. My favorite battle, personally, in the past is Wrath of the Dragon, right? When they're going up against a Harudagun, right? That's the Tapion movie, right? I love the final battle of that film. Love it. This battle probably will take that over as my favorite big, massive, like, group fight. Like, bunch of Z fighters against a massive opponent, right? Because I think the fight choreography in the final act of this film is beautiful. All right, I'm not gonna say it's on the level of Broly, right? But the fight choreography is very enjoyable, with the Gohan versus Gamma 1, Piccolo versus Gamma 2, and the Z fighters versus Cell Max. So this takes up basically the final I would say 20-25 minutes of the film, right? They're just going at it. And let me just check. Let me see if I'm not missing any. All right, I'm not missing anything in the chat. But anyway, we see them. They're just going at it, right? So then everybody teams up against Cell Max. First, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 try. They don't succeed. So then everybody gets in. First, Piccolo tries to give Gohan a sensu bean, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work because Gohan, this just doesn't catch it. Basically, this is a huge Easter egg back to Gohan not being able to catch the Potara earring from Goku, back in the Majin Buu saga, right? So Gohan drops the sensu bean. So Piccolo sees he has one left, but he chooses not to use it, right? I don't know what he says here because, like I said, there's no subtitles, but it's probably something like, well, we're not going to use this right now, or something like that. So basically, the Z Fighters all team up against Cell Max. The fight choreography is really cool, but nothing is really working. Nothing is really working. And then you got one of the more epic scenes in the movie. Gamma 2, I said it earlier, right? Gamma 2 is my favorite character in this film after Piccolo, who is my MVP. So Gamma 2 powers up and he decides, to be a superhero, and that basically he needs to sacrifice himself, right? So Gamma 2, what happens is Dr. Hito communicates that the weakness of Cell Max is that he has a little spot on his forehead, and if you destroy on the top of his head, and if you destroy it, then that will kill that will kill Cell Max, right? Dr. Hito put that there just in case he was not able to control Cell Max. So what happens is basically they do a nice little team attack where Piccolo is actually able to get a clear shot on Cell Max, right? But the attack is not powerful enough to kill him. So it wasn't that their attack was unsuccessful. It was just that there was not enough power behind Piccolo's attack to kill Cell Max, right? So then Gamma 2 decide, and we get this epic scene. This is where the visual effects look really, really cool. So I would say right away, just a disclaimer, I don't know if the rating's going to be brought down or brought up when the film hits America, because the visual effects here for someone that has like epilepsy or like is prone to seizures, especially in the final battle, there's a lot of colors and a lot of stuff going on that can really mess up someone that is prone to seizures. So that's just a little bit disclaimer. If you have like epilepsy, it may not be the best thing for you to go see this film. You may have to go wearing some special shades because, it's crazy. The visuals get really, really crazy here in the final battle. So Gamma 2 powers up, right? We get this epic scene of him powering up, right? And he goes all the way up into the sky, close to space. And he comes charging down on top of Cell Max, trying to destroy his forehead to kill him, right? Cell Max blocks it, but and Gamma 2, it does basically there's a huge explosion, and you see that Cell Max loses his arm, and he's not able to regenerate it. So for the rest of this movie, Cell Max is fighting with one arm, but we see that basically Gamma 2 killed himself, basically trying to defeat Cell Max, right? And at first you don't know that Gamma 2 is dead. It just looks like he's knocked out, right? Gamma 1 takes him off the battlefield, so it makes you think that, hey, Gamma 2's still alive, but it's actually not the case. Gamma 2 actually dies in that moment. So the final battle continues, right? And we see that actually Cell Max goes to actually, like, Gamma 2's already dead, but Cell Max goes to basically squash Gamma 2. But then Piccolo transforms. There's a really dope transition. Piccolo transforms into Orange Piccolo. It's like so cool because you never get to see Piccolo just transform, right? But there he is. He transforms into Orange Piccolo, and then he stops. He's using all his strength to stop Cell Max from crushing Gamma 2. So like I said, Gamma 2 gets carried off the battlefield, and then Krillin. There's like a really, really cool scene. So Krillin leaves I'm getting some of my details messed up here because so much happens here. So Krillin is basically so Cell Max then gets like really angry, and then he fires off all these like purple explosion rays, right? They're going everywhere all over the battlefield, right? So then Krillin and Bulma get separated from Pan, and Pan's like running. She's trying to dodge the explosion rays, but right when it looks like one of the rays is about to kill her, right at that moment, Pan learns how to fly and is able to fly away. Pan's like, wow, I can fly. So Pan learns how to fly. Remember, for those of you who look at Pan, baby Pan flying in DBS episode 42, remember, that was a filler episode. That was not an official episode. So Pan officially learns how to fly in this movie, which is a really cool moment. So then Bulma and Pan go back into the ship, right? Krillin jumps out of the ship, right? And, you know, he goes on the battlefield. And then we see Cell Max is about to attack Android 18. But then Krillin fires off a destructo disc, which actually lands and scars up the side of Cell Max's face. So Krillin gets a little bit of a cool moment, right? He also does a solar flare. And yeah. So then Krillin goes to Piccolo and he reminds Piccolo, like, hey, don't you have a giant form that you can use? Right? And then they do a quick flashback of Dragon Ball when Goku was fighting Piccolo in the World Tournament. And then they show Piccolo joining into his giant form. And Piccolo, it's not that he doesn't know how to do it, but Piccolo had completely forgot that he had that ability. So there's Krillin coming in clutch, right? Remember, none of the other Z fighters outside of Krillin and Bulma have ever seen Piccolo in giant form, because that was back in Dragon Ball, right? So Piccolo, then there's this epic scene of Piccolo that's becoming ginormous, right? And he's still like holding like Cell Max's leg. So as Piccolo is like going into his giant form, you know, he's holding Cell Max's leg, and it's like really cool. Cell Max is like, what the fuck is this? Right? So now we have giant orange Piccolo against Cell Max, right? And then Gohan's like, whoa, Piccolo, have you always had this ability? Right? And he's asking Piccolo, like, does this make you stronger? And Piccolo's like, no, this doesn't really make me stronger, but this is more just as a something I can use in a moment like this, right? So then basically Piccolo brings out the last sensu bean that he had, and it's super tiny because Piccolo's in his giant form. It's just a little bean, just a small little bean in his hand, and he gives it over to Gohan, like, you're our final hope, right? So he gives it over, Gohan eats it, and then Gohan's able to power back up into his ultimate form. There's some really cool dialogue here between Piccolo and Gohan, but I don't have the subtitles, unfortunately. So yeah, that it's a little bit unfortunate. But so then what happens? So Piccolo is fighting Cell Max, and like I said, the fight choreography is beautiful. It's not just like them just like punching each other in slow motion, but there's actually choreography. Like Piccolo's doing spin kicks and stuff, but for the most part, it's not doing much. Cell Max is just too powerful. And remember, Piccolo being giant is actually straining him, so he's actually losing power the longer he's in the ultimate form, or he's in the giant form, right? So then we see Gotenks returns, right? So Goten and Trunks tells Goten, hey, let's do fusion. And Goten's like, can we even do it properly anymore? So they fuse, and it's like they get the finger misplacement wrong. That's how we get fat Gotenks, right? And it's funny. So he tries to go Super Saiyan and he can't, right? And then he goes flying at Cell Max, and then Cell Max just, you know, smashes him away. But then Gotenks goes flying at 18, right? 18 throws him off like a volleyball spike, right? And then we see then Gamma 1 hits Gotenks. And all of a sudden, Gotenks is up in the air, and he decides, hey, I'm going to try to go crashing down on Cell Max. And he headbutts Cell Max's forehead, and actually cracks his forehead a little bit, you know, which is, it's funny. So even though it's not the fusion that Goten and Trunks wanted, it still proves to be a little effective in this battle, right? So yeah, but then we get back to Giant Piccolo, and he's doing his best, but then he just gets destroyed by Cell Max. Cell Max is just whooping Piccolo's ass. whooping. And we see blood coming out of Piccolo's mouth, right? Piccolo's doing his best, but it's just not it. And then we see, so as Piccolo's getting his ass beat, Piccolo is telling Gohan, like, hey, Gohan, power up. Very similar to what Goku was saying to what Goku was saying to Gohan in the climax of the Cell arc, right? When Gohan was not having faith in his power, you know, Goku, who was dead at that point, was talking to him via King Kai, and he's telling Gohan, believe in yourself. You're the strongest among us. You're the only one that can do this. So Gohan is trying to power up, right? But Piccolo is just getting his ass whooped, right? And then all the other Z fighters are trying their best, but they're all getting their asses whooped as well. So then what happens is we see Cell Max hits Piccolo with a huge uppercut. Piccolo goes flying up in the air, and then basically Cell Max fires off a bunch of beams at Piccolo, and Piccolo gets lit up, right? I also forgot to mention that Cell Max does chop Piccolo's arm off at one point, but remember, Piccolo can regenerate any limbs that he loses. So Piccolo gets lit up here by Cell Max, and basically Piccolo is very close to death, right? This is when we get the one of the craziest scenes in the history of Dragon Ball. The animation here is absolutely insane, right? So we see Cell Max catches Piccolo. He catches Piccolo very similar to how Goku caught Raccoon and Nappa when he did the Kaioken. So Cell Max is holding Piccolo, who's no longer in his giant form. He's knocked out unconscious. Cell Max catches Piccolo, right? And Piccolo's knocked out. He's down for the count. His eyes are white. Gohan sees this. Gohan thinks that Piccolo is dead. And then we get the red line, just like when Gohan first went Super Saiyan 2 against Cell. And man, oh man, this is epic. Epic. Gohan transforms, right? In a fit of rage. He just transforms. His eyes turn red. Masaku Nozawa absolutely killed this scene, right? So in a fit of rage, Gohan transforms, and if you haven't seen the images online, I don't know how, but Gohan is now standing there with red eyes, a massive bang. His hair is twice as long, and his hair is white/silver. We get no explanation for this form, anything like that, but Gohan gets his new form here. I don't know what this is. There's no explanation for it at the moment. You know, hopefully we will get that in the coming months once most people have seen the film, right? But I don't know. Maybe some people calling it Gohan's ultimate form mixed with Super Saiyan, right? That would be my guess, right? You know, I wouldn't call it Super Saiyan Rage, but my guess is maybe it's Ultimate Gohan mixed with Super Saiyan. Maybe that's what it is, but I don't know. I don't know. But I was just thinking back to Dragon Ball Super Episode 90 when Gohan's sparring with Goku. And remember, Goku tells Gohan, hey, are you going to transform? And Gohan's like, no, my goal is an ultimate form that no one's ever seen before. Well, the prophecy has been fulfilled. Gohan showcases a form that we've never seen before. This is not Ultra Instinct or anything like that. This is Gohan with red eyes, a massive bang, and his hair is double what its normal length is. It's wacky, you know, and like I said earlier, I like Orange Piccolo better than this form, right? Because Piccolo and Gohan both get new forms in this film, but still, it's still an epic moment. So Gohan's just like looking there. Cell Max is terrified. Cell Max, remember, Cell Max is massive. He goes to uppercut Gohan, right? It causes a huge shockwave, but Gohan eats it. Gohan's like, is that all you got? And he just flicks Cell Max away, and he hits him with a massive kick to the gut that sends Cell Max flying. Cell Max is now in full panic mode, right? And he tries to, generate a massive key ball. Massive key ball. Gohan sitting there, and he just has this smirk on his face, like, huh, all right, show me something. And all of a sudden, as Cell Max is trying to form this key ball, Piccolo is back in the fight. Piccolo regenerates his arm, and he does his extending. He could remember Piccolo can extend his limbs, so he extends his arm, and he's trying to grab a hold of Cell Max, right? Cell Max tries to throw Piccolo off him, but Piccolo is not going down without a fight. So then Piccolo's yelling at Gohan, like, Gohan, do it. And then we see Gohan forming a special beam cannon. It's the first time we've ever seen him do it, but he forms a special beam cannon. And then Cell Max is trying to get Piccolo off him, but Piccolo will not go anywhere. Piccolo grabs a hold of Cell Max's neck and the rest of his body. Gohan fires off the special beam cannon. He says, "Masa Soka Po." I know I'm saying it right, but Masa Soko. I'm saying it wrong, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. Gohan fires off the special beam cannon. Cell Max with one arm is barely able to fire off his key move because Piccolo is holding him, right? It doesn't matter. Colors everywhere. Like I said, if you suffer from epilepsy or anything like that, please wear shades when you go see this film because the colors are everywhere. Piccolo or the special beam cannon disintegrates Cell Max's move, right? And then the attack comes flying at Cell Max. Cell Max can't move because Piccolo is holding him, and it goes right through Cell Max's forehead, killing him in an instant, right? So then Cell Max goes flying down to the ground, and for the most part, he is dead. The Sea Fighters have achieved victory. And then in one final huge Easter egg, if you guys remember back from the Cell arc, basically when Cell tried to destroy the Earth before Goku sacrificed himself, instant teleporting himself and Cell to King Kai's planet, basically Cell Max explodes, right? All the Sea Fighters get away safely along with Gamma 1, who's holding both a dead Gamma 2 and an unconscious Dr. Hito, right? Then Cell Max explodes, destroying the Red Ribbon Army base, right? And that leads us into the ending of the film. So basically that's what happens. So then we just get into more of the ending, right? Pan goes to find her daddy and Piccolo, and you just see she sees Gohan and Piccolo, but she doesn't recognize them because they're transformed, right? And it's funny. You see Gohan and Piccolo, they just look at each other, right? And then they go back into their normal forms, right? And Piccolo's just looking at himself like, damn, I had muscles there. And Gohan's like touching his hair, like, ooh, that was something, right? And then Pan goes to hug Gohan. Very, very cute stuff, right? And then we get the wrap up, really, right? Little stuff. Piccolo's talking to Gamma 1 and Dr. Hito, right? Gamma 1 is sad because Gamma 2 is dead. And basically we see Gamma 2 turn to dust. Like I said, the Marvel references continue here. He turns to dust. Gamma 2 turns to dust. We've already talked about Wakanda and Gohan's entrance being similar to Thor in Avengers Infinity War. Then we see Gamma 2 turn to dust, right? And it's like, damn, like seriously, did the staff just watch like Avengers Infinity War and watch Marvel movies and be like, hey, let's just make this like Avengers Infinity War? Let's make this movie the Dragon Ball version of Avengers Infinity War. Seriously, Gamma 2 turns to dust. He's gone. But basically Piccolo acknowledges and thanks Gamma 1 and Dr. Hito for their help, right? Basically them turning babyface because they weren't really bad guys. They were just more under the influence of Carmine and Magana. So then Dr. Hito asks if he can work for Bulma at Capsule Corp. and Bulma's like, sure, you can help me, stay young and all these other things, wacky stuff. And then really in the Piccolo reminds Gohan like, hey, this is why you need to keep training for moments like this. Goku and Vegeta are not around here, and you had to be the hero. If you weren't here, the Sea Fighters would have been doomed, right? So basically Gohan. So hopefully this time Gohan has really learned his lesson. Like we're not saying like Gohan has to always train, but he should train here and there so that he doesn't lose his ultimate form and stuff like that. Plus now he has this new form that can take him to new heights. We don't know what this form means. And Orange Pickle, we don't know what these forms, how they compare to Goku's Ultra Instinct or Vegeta's Ultra Ego or Super Saiyan Blue or anything like that. But we know that they are now on new levels, right? New levels of power. And yeah, so so you get that. There is like a weird dialogue, basically like Gohan saying, I don't know if Goku or Vegeta, could have defeated Cell Max. I think we need subtitles and the English sub to understand more on what they were trying to say with that line. I know a lot of people are going to take that line and then they're going to be like, oh, is this confirming that final Gohan is stronger than Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego? No, we don't know that. Like, come on. And, I know some people are going to be out there complaining that hey, Gohan made these massive leaps of power, right? Like when Gohan first turned Super Saiyan 2 in the Cell Saga, when Gohan then first unlocked his ultimate form against Buu, against Majin Buu. Now Gohan has this huge leap of power in Dragon Ball Super, right? Because remember, Gohan was fighting on par with Super Saiyan Blue Goku before the Tournament of Power. And now Gohan has this huge new form, right? That one-shot Cell Max, and who knows how it compares to Goku and Vegeta. So Gohan just gets these huge power boosts, seems like all the time, while Goku and Vegeta are always training. But still, like, we don't know. We don't know how Piccolo and Gohan's new forms compare to Goku and Vegeta's forms. But maybe we'll get that in the future, no matter if that's a future movie or in the manga or when the anime comes back, right? But still, very, very, very interesting stuff. But yeah, so then the film ends. Pan shows Piccolo now that she can fly, right? And then we see that basically she's flying around and showcasing all the characters. Goten and Trunks actually try to fuse again, and it looks like they got it correctly. We don't get to see Teen Gotenks, like, so it's like a bait and switch, right? So we see Goten and Trunks successfully do the fusion, but we don't get to see Gotenks. I think they're just gonna save that for a future project because they know that, hey, we want to see Teen Gotenks. We want to see we got Teen Goten, Teen Trunks finally aged up. Now we want to see them Teen Gotenks. That's the next step, right? But they tease us with that, and then Pan flying around is how the movie ends. So then we get the superhero theme, right? Once again, and then we get a mid-credit scene, a la Marvel, right? Another thing that this movie takes from Marvel, we get a mid-credit scene. So basically, it's back on Beerus' planet, and we get to see the result of Goku and Vegeta's battle. Remember, they have been going at it the whole time that Gohan and the others were dealing with the Gammas and Cell Max. So Goku and Vegeta have no idea about Piccolo's new forms or Gohan's new form. That is going to be awesome to see eventually what their reactions are to this new power, no matter if that's in the manga or that's in the anime when the anime comes back. But we see basically that Goku and Vegeta are exhausted, right? And they basically have no power left in their punches. So they go to punch one another. Vegeta is able to land a very, very weak punch on Goku, right? And Goku goes down and Vegeta has won, right? Whis declares Vegeta the winner. Goku's not mad about it. Goku's like laughing. And Vegeta is so happy. He's like, yes, I finally defeated Kakarot, right? So I don't know if that's a retcon to the end of Z, right? Because you guys remember at the end of Z, Vegeta says that I will one day defeat you, Kakarot. But Vegeta does defeat Kakarot here. I know some people are gonna be like, hey, they didn't use any of their transformations or ki blasts were not allowed, but still, Vegeta still beat Goku in a hand-to-hand combat match, right? But still, it was kind of cool because Vegeta's like, yes, I did it, I defeated Kakarot, and then he falls down because him and Goku are of course exhausted, right? Z, Broly, and Lemo, they are crying because they were like, wow, that battle was absolutely awesome, and basically that's how the film ends. That's how Dragon Ball Super Superhero ends. An awesome end credit scene, right? It doesn't give us anything like what's the future like that. Frieza does make a appearance, but it's only for about 10 seconds, just to let you know that he's still out there, right? And I know that they will do something with Frieza in the future. There's a reason why they resurrected him. They didn't resurrect him just to do nothing. But Frieza is still out there, and yeah, that's how the film ends. Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And so, like I said, I really did enjoy this film. This was an awesome film, right? It was not better than Dragon Ball Super Broly to me, but I love Dragon Ball Super Broly so much. It's my favorite Dragon Ball film. Like, it was gonna take something ridiculous for this movie to be better than Broly for me personally. I love this film though. All right, it's awesome. It's awesome to see Gohan and Piccolo get the spotlight. Like I said, Piccolo is my second favorite character in Dragon Ball outside of Goku. So to see Piccolo just be the MVP of this movie was awesome to see because he deserves it. It's the best Piccolo has been in Dragon Ball Super, and arguably you can make an argument that it's the best Piccolo has ever been, really, in my opinion. And I will make more videos on this. My plan is to make some more videos talking about some of the characters. So I'm going to make a video on Piccolo. I'm going to make a video on Gohan, right? Maybe I'll make a video on the Gammas if you guys want me to do that. I'll make a video on Cell Max. Was he a good villain or not? Right? But yeah, Piccolo was great. Gohan was great. He was my favorite character in the movie. That was just that's nothing against Gohan. I loved Gohan in this film, but Gohan was great. Gohan and Piccolo were great as the main stars. Gamma 2 was amazing. I loved Gamma 2. Sad that he's gone. Gamma 1 was good as well, but I was definitely more of a Gamma 2 guy. Gamma 2, like I said, he reminds me a lot of myself. I would say probably my biggest con was that the Red Ribbon Army was kind of pointless. They didn't do anything in this movie. Basically, outside of just the Gammas, Magenta a little bit, and Cell Max, the Red Ribbon Army was nothing. Like, it was cool getting to see their base and everything like that, but they didn't do anything. They did nothing, So I don't know that their revival was kind of pointless, but it's whatever. Dragon Ball is supposed to be casual now, right? It didn't hurt the film for me personally. I enjoyed it, and yeah, this was fun. Pan was fun. I loved her interactions with Piccolo. Seeing the other Z fighters get the shine here, right? It would have been cool to see like Android 17 make an appearance. I feel like that would have been really awesome, right? But still, 18 was great. Seeing Goten and Trunks return, that was awesome. Hopefully next time they'll get the fusion right, and definitely I want to see more of Goten and Trunks, especially now that they've been aged up a little bit, right? I want to see more Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, of course. Really, really cool stuff. And hopefully there's a plan for what they want to do after this movie. What I mean by that is, like I said, for the most part, we all know that this movie takes place after the Granola and the Moral arcs. Even though for an anime-only person, they don't reference the manga at all here. But for a manga person, that this takes place after the Moral and the Granola saga. So, now you have, we're still in the climax of the Granola saga, but we'll see how that plays out. But that Goku his Ultra Instinct is going to be on a whole new level by the end of that arc. Vegeta has his Ultra Ego. Broly's trying to master his, Super Saiyan powers. And once he masters that, his power will be on a whole new level, because we saw how strong he was just as a Berserk Saiyan. Imagine how strong he'll be once he's able to control that power. We've seen that with Kale in the Tournament of Power. Just imagine when it happens to Broly on a whole new level, right? You have Gohan with his new form, and who knows what heights he can reach with that. We don't even know what that form is, right? Like, my prediction, I guess, is maybe it's like his ultimate form mixed with Super Saiyan, but I don't know. We don't have any explanation for what that form is right now. Remember, Gohan and Piccolo's new forms were not revealed in the teaser trailers or anything like that, right? When we got the Broly film, they straight out made a whole trailer just revealing Gogeta, right? How Gogeta versus Broly would be the final battle. We got nothing hinting at Gohan and Piccolo's new forms in this movie at all, right? So we have no idea. Hopefully we'll get an explanation for that in the months and the weeks and months to come, and I'll make videos on it once we get that information. But still, at this moment we have no idea what that form is. Piccolo has two forms now. He has his base, he has his ultimate form, or his potential unleashed form, and he has the orange Piccolo form. So now Piccolo has three forms, or two forms technically. And we'll see how Piccolo, continues to train and gets stronger as the series goes on. Like I said, I feel like this is all building up to something massive, like all these new forms, all these new higher levels of power. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I feel like this is all building up to something, right? Frieza, Broly, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo. Who knows? There's lots of things that they can do going forward. And it's just really, really exciting. Definitely we've been waiting for this movie forever, right? For the last couple of years, since we haven't had the DBS anime, right? In the last 4 or 5 years, we've had 2 movies now, right? And both movies have been a hit, in my opinion. And I think most people are going to have positive things to say about this movie. There's going to be some people that don't like the new forms, and there's going to be some people that don't like the 3D and, things like that, right? I definitely think there'll probably be, a little bit more negativity towards this film than there was for Broly, but I do feel like the majority of people will definitely say that, hey, they enjoyed this film. It was a fun ride, right? We've gotten 2 films in the last couple of years, and now I think that it's building up to something. No matter if that's another movie or a new arc when the DBS anime eventually comes back, right? But it definitely feels like they are laying the groundwork for something big, is with everyone getting these new levels of powers, and I'm here for it. I am hyped to see where they go, and definitely I'm here for everything Dragon Ball, man. I really did enjoy this film, and even though it was canned and leaked, I cannot wait to get the subtitles, and I cannot wait to see this film in American theaters in August. I cannot wait to see it with the English dub, and who knows, maybe we'll get the English subbed in theaters as well. I have no problem going to see this movie in the dub and subbed as well. I have no problem doing that. But either way, man, Dragon Ball Superhero, in my opinion, was a success. It was a success. Very, very fun ride. It wasn't better than Broly for me, but I did really enjoy this film. So, other than that, that's about all I got for you guys today. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me here on this video, on this podcast, review, whatever you want to call it. We went 2 hours, and I'm not tired at all. Like when I talk Dragon Ball, I can go a long time, but this was very, very enjoyable. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to listen to my thoughts on the movie. I went in depth on everything, so hopefully you guys got to enjoy that. And definitely, man, hopefully when this movie comes out in just a couple of months here in America, you guys go get to see it for yourselves. It's definitely worth seeing in theaters. Definitely go see it in theaters, guys. But other than that, thank you guys so very much. I will have tons of more videos talking about this film and all things Dragon Ball in the days and weeks to come. Depending on when you guys are watching this, the new chapter of the DBS manga will be coming out in about a week or so. So we're going to get spoilers for that. So we've been talking about DBS Superhero, but we got to get ready for the next chapter in the DBS manga. The battle between Goku, Vegeta, Granola, and the Heaters does continue. So that is on the way. So make sure you guys don't forget that is coming. But other than that, leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Comment what was your favorite part of this movie. If you guys haven't seen it yet, tell me what you guys are excited about. Make sure you subscribe if you guys are new. Hit the big red button right next to my name, Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Click the bell as well. Follow me down on social media. The links are in the description down below. Thank you guys. As always, I will see you guys later.